Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We have a nice list today. 46 properties. There's 44 on the Treb system. There's 2 more on the Ortis list. This is the biggest list of the year, and it comes at a time when I think people have been starved for inventory. So the way things are working now, and I'll talk about this later in the episode, when there's more supply coming out, buyer demand is probably not increasing that much more. Usually it does, but I think the market has scared some buyers. It doesn't mean it's a bad time to buy. I still think there's a lot of upside here, but it means that buyers need to choose their battles, and they need to be smart, and they need good guidance from a good agent. So 46, wow, big list. Let's do this. So there are a ton of what we call village townhouses, this style of home right here. There's no finished basement. There's no basement at all in these properties. So they've done powder rooms and everything else, but it looks like it's a 2-bedroom, 3 washrooms. So there's a good chance that this one is a larger unit. Asking $539. We've got another one here on Dairy Road that has some extra road maintenance fees. The previous one does not. Anytime you see a unit number like 81, it means there's probably, it says a monthly maintenance fee of $89.74. The new versions of these also have a whole rented HVAC system, which is more than the water tank rental that you would see on Wetton Hall Landing. So I know I'm jumping around a lot, but Ambrose, same thing. They're all coming out. They're all competing against each other. This one's a little bit smaller, but it's an end unit, kind of floats around the same price. And there's another one there, same model. So there is a lot of competition. Then we'll get to the first one I wanted to talk about. There's 3 bungalows in this list. There's Heslop, well, actually Commercial's the 4th. So Heslop Parkway, Woodward further down, and then also Commercial, which I'm going to talk about. It's good news. There's not a lot of bungalows out there. And these are all in pretty good price points that I think are manageable if somebody is doing the downsize move. This is a corner property. This one and the one on Parkway are kind of just around that Fairgrounds, Milton District High School area, which I really like. I think it's a great area. You could walk right up Commercial and be right in the heart of downtown. So this one on Commercial Street's kind of interesting. $599. They've rented both suites, but I think there's a high demand right now for families that want to move in with parents, and so something like this could work for that, or it could just be an investment property. They only bought this one in like late 2015, so as an investment property, it's one of the better ones we've seen, which is cool because oftentimes they don't even cash flow well. But anyway, so I see the optimal use for this as being a family living in one and having family in the other, maybe renting the other one out and subsidizing. If you could get, what did they say here? So you've got $1,850 and then you've got $1,000. If you rented the 1 bedroom for $1,000, that's like about $200 subsidy on your mortgage. So it would feel like you bought a home for $400,000 when you look at the cash flow and the reduction in cost for you too. That's pretty cool. You just don't find that these days. You can't buy anything now for $400,000. So here's the numbers for the investment. So we've got $2,850 in income. If you looked at this strictly as an investment property, let's say you bought it for $600, may go for more. I think there's a good chance it will. And you have revenues. A smart investor will allocate about 5-6% towards vacancy allowance, which means 1 in 20 months, you're not getting paid because there's no tenant in there. Either you've got a transition point between one and another, maybe you just don't get paid or whatever else. You cannot assume that for every month this place it exists, that it's going to be rented out. It doesn't work that way, even in a market that doesn't have very high vacancy rates. So then we put in property taxes. We've got insurance that you're going to pay for the building. Tenant covers their own tenant liability insurance. Now, I haven't put, tenant typically pays for this stuff here. The hot water tank, sometimes $25, might be the landlord, might be the tenant. It depends on what's arranged. So you go through all this stuff here, and even if you said your mortgage rate, I know mortgage rates, you can get them for less than 3%, but I like to overestimate everything. I like to make sure that we're completely conservative here. This says that you make $69 a month in cash flow and you're in a good community that I think will continue to appreciate. So this is not the worst. Like a 4.7 cap rate is really, really good. There's people in Toronto that are happy with 3.5-4% right now. So anyway, there's some other things like DSC. I'm not going to get into the numbers, but when that goes green, it's worth pursuing further in my mind. Now, that's assuming zero repairs and maintenance. So is there roof work? Is there windows? Is there furnace? Is there air conditioning? Is there just deferred maintenance, flooring, paint? I mean, if I were to put, let's just say, even if you said like $2,000 a year, which is probably pretty conservative. Some years you may not have much, some years you're going to have lots. All of a sudden, now you're losing $97 a month. So you've gone from plus $67 to minus $97 just by changing $2,000 of expenses annualized per year. So something definitely to think about. Investors have different tolerances for risk. Ideally, I'd like to see the cash flow on a property like this be up in the $200 or $300 range, because then I know I can float unforeseen expenses. Going at $69 a month on a property like this is a little tight, but it's still one of the better ones we've ever seen in Milton. So Chooch Match, 2 properties today that I'll talk about. There's been a couple others, but I wanted to talk about this one, which we reviewed last week. Holding back on offers, did not get what they liked. I don't know what that means, so I wasn't part of the offers. But here's what they did. They took the opposite approach of Pettigrew. So the way I'm coaching people now is that it's not guaranteed you're going to get multiple offers. Maybe a month and a half ago, it was pretty much guaranteed. Now it's spotty. The inventory coming out, like I talked about at the start of the video. So there's a 70% chance it's going to go really well. On Manly Lane last night, crushed it. Sellers were so happy. They were amazing. It was a phenomenal experience. Got the home ready, listened to our advice, probably made an extra $50,000 easy just from the advice we gave, and probably spending $10,000, not even, I think less than that. So huge multiplier. Anyway, there's a 30% chance it may not pan out for you. If so, you fall back into what we call regular listing, which is put it where you think it's worth. But these guys have done the opposite. They were at $699, and I don't know what happened, but now they're doing $679, and now they're trying to get offers again on, I think, April 10th. I don't know if that'll work. So you've got this one here on Chooch Match, and then now we'll talk about Pettigrew. So 2 houses down from that one in the list, and it's in a different neighborhood, but it's a semi. But the point is that these guys listed for $600,000, and they didn't get what they wanted. So instead of doing what Chooch Match did, which would have been listed $575 or $580, they went the opposite. They said, hey, you know what? We're going to put it up at the number that we think we can get for it, which is $694.9, and then off we go. So different strategies. There's no right and wrong, but I think it's good to start having that conversation early with your agent. Like, what happens if this multiple offer doesn't work out? And instead of being in panic, you can say, okay, that's what we expected. Let's move on to plan B. So Ramshaw Crescent 1.2, we've seen sales of this model go for 132, 1339, which was our sale, and then a 1.4 on a big pie-shaped lot. The thing that amused me about this home was the fact that it has, well, first of all, it looks like a pretty fun house. You've got a pool table where the dining room is. I guess no need for a dining room, but this room made me laugh. This is a popcorn making room. So I don't know, it's funny. There's not really a seat here. So I guess you lay on the floor and you can watch TV and you can make popcorn. It's interesting. I would just expect a little more in this room. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about this one. It's a walkout basement, which is not easy to find these days. So there we are. That's the list. Like I said, Manly went really well last night. Anderson did really well. All of these homes have something in common, that they put the work in. It doesn't matter what kind of market it is. And if we are balancing a little bit, which is very possible, then it's going to matter a lot. So that's the list. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow with more Milton Daily Homes.